Without further ado, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Mr. Hari Ahmed. Mr. Ahmed is the founder and executive director of the Kurdistan Center for International Law, where he is leading a project for criminalizing core international crimes in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. Previously, he has published a book on genocide in international law and tribunals in Kurdish language, and was a co-author of a study on limitations and obstacles which hinders the Kurdistan judicial system. Mr. Ahmed has published articles on Yazidi genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity in Iraq. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much. I'm very proud to be here, and I would like to thank Gurgen and KCIL for your kind invitation. I'm going to talk about the National Criminal Investigation Journal of Iraq and ISIS accountability. How can I change the slider here? Thank you. Yeah, but before going to talk about ISIS accountability, I would like to bring you back to 20 years ago, after the liberation of Iraq or invasion of Iraq, it depends on your perspective. Iraqi High Tribunal was established and it operated from 2005 to 2011. The temporal jurisdiction was from 1968 to 2003, and the personal jurisdiction was just for the members of the Ba'ath Party, the Iraqi citizens, and the subject matter of the subject matter jurisdiction of the court was for the crime of genocide, war crimes and crimes against humanity, and of course any other ordinary crimes within the Iraqi Penal Code. The most well-known judgments within the Iraqi High Tribunal were the cases which were related to the Kurdish community, Halabja case, Anfal case, Faili case, and Barzani case, which all of the cases were amounted to war crimes against humanity and genocide. My reflection to the Iraqi High Tribunal, the tribunal was serving as retributive justice instead of transitional and restorative justice, because within the rooms of the court there were trials for prosecuting core crimes, but outside the court there were conflicts, many different conflicts among many different religious and ethnic groups. The court was not served to become a foundation for incorporating international criminal law, which we would have needed in 2017 for prosecuting ISIS fighters, and of course the court didn't have any sufficient professionalism of the court and of the judges and of the staff. ISIS emerged in 2014. International state emerged. ISIS didn't come. ISIS emerged within the Sunni society. I was around 100 kilometers far from ISIS. Village by village, town by town, city by city, they joined ISIS because of the political dynamics and because of not having restorative justice after the fall of Saddam Hussein. And when ISIS defeated, there were some demands from the international communities or some of the victim organizations to prosecute ISIS fighters at the ICC. But Fatwa bin Saud in 2015 rejected, the initiation. And all of the ISIS fighters, they have been prosecuted both in Iraq and in Kurdistan according to the anti-terrorism law. And when it was on request of Iraq was established by the United Nations Security Council in 2017, and it will be ended in this week in 15 September 2024. They already collected many evidences, but they didn't share any evidence with the Iraqi and Kurdistan courts, because they say it's against the United Nations standards, because both of the authorities in Iraq and in Kurdistan, unfortunately, we have capital punishment. In 2021, we have conducted this research when we established Kurdistan Center for International Law. I would like to share some of the data within our research. We collected data from the Kurdistan Court of Cassation in the Felony Committee in the Kurdistan Court of Cassation. 44% of the cases were related to the anti-terrorism law. It means 44% of the cases were related to ISIS crimes. And in 2021, it was 29%, and in juvenile committee in the Kurdistan Court of Cassation in 2022, it was 36% and 24% in 2024. In 2021, Kurdistan Parliament initiated a discussion for establishment a special court for ISIS crimes. I was actively involved within the discussion for establishment the special court, but while we were in the discussion for establishment the special court, the Iraqi Constitutional Court issued a judgment and said the special court for ISIS crimes is unconstitutional. So they blocked the vote and we returned back to the first square. In 2022, we as the Kurdistan Center for International Law, we started again another discussion for just answering the situation. Kurdistan would be able to criminalize core crimes in its judicial and legislative system or not, because there was no way for prosecuting ISIS. So fortunately we found out yes, we could. All of these researches are available on our website. We started to draft a law for criminalizing core crimes. We already have cooperation with some national and international experts. So the draft law is available on our website, and we have submitted to Kurdistan Parliament. But it needs to be like more advocacy for criminalizing core crimes, because there is not like public awareness raising about the importance of the domesticated international law, or maybe to like in Armenia for being a member of the ICC. Since 2023 and 2024, we have made some resources in Kurdish language. We have translated the Rome Statute, the element of crimes, the facts about the ICC and the four Geneva Conventions into Kurdish language, because we didn't have any resource in Kurdish, in our own Kurdish language about the international law, international criminal law, and the documents. And in 2023 to 2024, we have created some practical manuals. The responsibility of the organization is, being a bridge between theory and practice. We have developed a manual on IHL, International Humanitarian Law, and we have created a manual on fight trial according to international human rights standards, and we are about to create two manuals, manual on procedural aspects of international criminal law, that will be published within next few weeks, and a guideline for the process for respecting of international standards. Based on these manuals, we have yesterday was Sarah, she mentioned, my colleague, she mentioned like capacity building needs for Armenia. It is the same for Kurdistan. Based on these manuals and resources, we have conducted trainings for the judges and prosecutors and lawyers. We have conducted summer schools for law students. Thanks, Gordon. He helped us a lot in Kurdistan, and in Germany he was a part of these trainings. And a part of our efforts is raising awareness of public on international law. We have published infographics, some lectures, and we have conducted some conferences. Thank you so much.
We'll start our Q&A sessions with a few questions. If anyone has any questions, please hand it to our volunteers. Okay, thank you. So we'll ask with a few questions for Mr. Ahmed. Can you describe the specific legal and logistical challenges faced in prosecuting former ISIS members in Iraqi Kurdistan?
առնչվում են նախկին ԻՊ անդամներին պատասխանի կանչելու հետ։
In Iraq, first of all, there is not wall for criminalizing, core crimes. All of the ISIS fighters have been prosecuted. It's true, ISIS was a terrorist organization, but they committed war crimes, crimes against humanity, and the crime of genocide against the Yazidi community. And the Yazidi community needs to have this kind of judgment, because this kind of judgment is like a stamp of history. That's why Armenians, Kurds, and some of the victims around the world, they need us to have judgments for according to what the crimes that they have gone through genocide, for example. Another issue, another challenge, I think, in Kurdistan and in Iraq, there are some fluctuations, some political fluctuations between Iraq and Kurdistan. Like, for example, during the negotiation for establishment, the special court for ISIS, the big question was, okay, the court would be able to prosecute, the perpetrators, the ISIS members who committed crimes inside Iraq but outside the Kurdistan territory. How is the dynamic for transferring, the ISIS fighters between Baghdad and Kurdistan? Another challenge could be like procedural aspects for international criminal law, because there are a lot of gaps in the Iraqi procedural criminal law in Kurdistan, and maybe financial challenges, because right now there is a big problematic issues between Kurdistan and between Iraq. I see, but it needs time. And maybe another issue which we are working on it, we don't have, it was one of our main questions, how many professional judges do you have, professional lawyers, for dealing with war crimes? If you see the judgment of the Iraqi High Tribunal in 2008 and 2009, which there were a lot of judgments came out in the ICTR and ICTY. But if you comparison that, the judgment of the IST and the ICTR, ICTI and ICTR and ICTY, so you can differentiate that it's not like a judgment in an international criminal court. It's like a judgment in a local judgment because of the mentality of the judges.
Thank you. How many ISIS members have actually been tried and convicted, if any?
How many?
Yes.
Actually, I don't know, but maybe more than 5,000, but just in Kurdistan.
And do you work with any organizations in collecting evidence?
We need that, unfortunately, by the request of Iraqi government at the end of this week, they have done a great job for evidence collection. And there are another institution in Kurdistan region of Iraq, which is a part of Judicial Council. The director of the institution is Judge Ayman. He was one of the participants of our training. They already collected and they already shared some evidence with Germany, Netherlands, and in France, and of course. Just some weeks ago, we published the last report and says so far just they served through sharing evidences. They served 15 cases in third party. And there are, for example, Yazidi organizations, they are working on evidence collection, and I would like to ask Center for Truth and Justice to work in Kurdistan, especially for the Yazidi community, for documentation, because you already have experiences here in Armenia. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think.
What role do local Iraqi Kurdish initiatives play in supporting these prosecutions, and how effective have they been?
Kurdistan can play the crucial role for accountability for ISIS. through evidence, sharing evidence, through having like a channel between, any prosecutions around the world and the victims in Kurdistan. But to be honest, I think the effort is for having this kind of role within the Kurdistan region of Iraq and in the Kurdistan government and institutions. There are not like a real willing, for supporting victims, because I mentioned it when I was talking about the Iraqi High Tribunal, the mentality of some of people. I wish it will not happen here, because some of mentality of in Kurdistan, in Iraq, they have retributive, mentality just for prosecuting and killing ISIS, not like for having a fair trial. So maybe another the Kurdistan region of Iraq can do that. Of course, in support of the international community for paving the way for restorative justice and transitional justice for the Yazidi community, because Yazidi is scattered around the world and they are shattered, so they need a lot of support.
Thank you. I would like to go back to the number of convictions you mentioned. Did you say 5,000 convicted, and also have they been sentenced as well?
I don't think actually, but I think more than 5,000.
530, or I apologize. Repeat that. How many?
5,000.
More than 5,000.
Just we collected around 3,000 cases in 2021 and 2019-2021.
Thank you. And how the prosecutions in Iraqi Kurdistan coordinate with efforts in other states to ensure accountability for ISIS crimes?
The body which is a part of the Judicial Council, they are working on evidence collection, and I am aware, it's based in Doha, and I am aware they shared evidences with Germany and Netherlands for some cases, and still there are a good cooperation between them as far as I know.
Thank you. And what's the main political problem behind not having the law on punishing former ISIS members?
We have a law, but it's anti-discrimination law. We don't have a real law for international crimes, and I think it's about not understanding of the political leaders for for importance of incorporating international criminal law into domestic system. It needs time. So we should have hope, and we need to keep our work in our efforts for making them or to persuade them to having or to criminalizing core crimes in Kurdistan and in Iraq